About 9 months ago, I created a video about the production of Amrita inside the human body. There should be a link to that video either on the screen now, or in the description below, or at the end of this video. In that video, I described something that occurs during the process of spiritual awakening. I talked about how one can experience a honey-like nectar emerging from the crown chakra, trickling down the head and being reabsorbed into the body, either through the third eye or into the throat, or even being reabsorbed into the heart chakra. Amrita doesn't only emerge from the crown, it can also flow from the Bindu chakra on the top back of the head, or the Agna chakra, the third eye. It can even descend inside the head into the nasal cavity and be tasted in the mouth and throat before being taken down into the stomach. Since creating that video, I've received numerous questions about the Amrita production process. So to address these questions, I decided to make another video. So the first question that was asked is a straightforward one. Could what you're describing simply be sweat? So the answer to this is no, because sweat is a physical substance, subject to the laws of gravity, whereas Amrita is not controlled by gravity. When Amrita emerges from the crown, it doesn't necessarily fall towards the earth's centre, as sweat would. It can move away from it, in the opposite direction. This indicates that Amrita is a non-physical substance, moving through energetic channels within and around the body. The second question is related to this. Could this be cerebrospinal fluid? So cerebrospinal fluid is a physical substance that surrounds and protects the brain and the spinal nerves. Again, it would follow the laws of gravity. So Amrita cannot be cerebrospinal fluid. The third question that was asked is whether Amrita is a drink, something that is prepared in a cup and consumed during spiritual rituals. And could I be confusing what I've experienced with this drink? So yes, there is a ceremonial drink, referred to as Amrita. It's designed to mimic the substance produced within the human body, so it represents that. Many aspects of religious ceremonies replicate this process of the production of Amrita, such as anointing with oil, which mirrors the oily substance that sometimes appears on the forehead during the process of Amrita being produced. The fourth question asked was whether there are references to Amrita in Sanskrit texts. So yes, there are, and it's referred to by 3 different names: Amrita, Soma, and Soma Rasa. Descriptions of this process date back to ancient texts like the Rig Veda, which is one of the oldest known texts of India. These texts provide detailed accounts of the divine rapture experienced during the production of this substance in the body. It's also mentioned in texts such as the Shiva Samhita and the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. The fifth question pertains to whether complete celibacy is necessary for Amrita production, and whether wet dreams can hinder the process. So strict celibacy isn't required. It's about finding the right balance in preserving sexual energy and fluids, and that depends on the individual. Forced celibacy could actually be harmful for someone, as it would involve repression, and that could deter this process from happening. So finding a balance between a comfortable sexual life, which could vary from person to person, and avoiding losing too much sexual energy and sexual fluids is important. Wet dreams are unavoidable and will result in some loss of sexual energy and fluids. So yes, that could delay this process from happening. But there's no advantage in getting stressed or upset about wet dreams. They won't last forever, so you can simply ignore them. The sixth question asks if the process will simply continue once it starts. So the answer to that is it is not necessarily irreversible, as many factors can influence it. Practitioners should maintain their spiritual practices and lifestyle habits to support the process. If the conditions that were there when the process started are taken away, then it could stop. And of course, it can always start again once the conditions are put back in place. The seventh question is about experiencing Amrita production after sun gazing. Someone wrote in to say that they started to experience Amrita after sun gazing, but have never practiced yoga, and they were wondering how this could happen. So sun gazing is a form of yoga practice called tratak, which involves focusing the attention on a single point. Any practice that involves the intense focus on a single point, such as a candle flame, or a dot on the wall, or a visualized image in the mind, is called tratak. It can lead to the production of Amrita, as it enhances the upward flow of prana in the body. So just a caution about sun gazing: it should only be done early in the morning as the sun is rising, or in the late evening as the sun is setting. During the rest of the day it could damage the eyes. So make sure you know what you're doing if you're practicing sun gazing. The eighth question is about whether there's anything we can do to speed up the production of Amrita and cause it to begin sooner. So it's important to remember that there are three things that need to be in place simultaneously for the production of Amrita to happen in the body. One is that we need to have reached a certain stage of spiritual purity in the body and the mind. This usually comes as a result of years of spiritual practice. Once this has been achieved, another thing that has to be present is that the upward flow of Kundalini has to be strong enough. The rising current of prana in the body has to be strong enough, because that's what creates the sort of magnetic pull that will draw sexual fluids and sexual energy up through the body. Sexual fluids will come up as far as the bladder, and sexual energy will mix in the Manipura chakra with prana from food and from air and rise up to the head. And then the third thing that has to be present when these first two are in place is that there has to be a sufficient store of sexual fluids and sexual energy. So those three things all have to be present at the same time. So in terms of what someone could do if they want to speed up the process of the production of Amrita in the body, I would say focus on your spiritual practices. Make sure you're engaging in spiritual practices at least once a day, if not twice a day, and make sure that the rest of your life is supporting those practices. Make sure that you're not wasting energy, including sexual energy. Be careful about where you're putting your attention and what you're doing with your time. When these three things are all present at the same time, the production of Amrita will happen. When the production of Amrita begins, it's an intensely purifying experience. So we purify the body and the mind in order to make this process begin, but once this process has begun, the process itself will then also intensely purify the body and the mind. So this process accelerates the process of spiritual transformation, leading to liberation and unity.